Namaskar and a very good morning. Welcome to the audio cast from Kotak Securities. I'm your host and guide, Anindya Bannerjee. कल US Federal Reserve meeting में रात को they hiked rates by 75 basis points. That was completely expected, so the market did not move much. But the reason why dollar fell last night, of course, the positioning is so large, the long positioning in the dollar, that an expected outcome should be a trigger for profit taking. Apart from that, जो press conference था उसमें Jerome Powell ने indicate किया कि ये जो series of hikes है इसके कारण it is having a negative impact on growth. And because it's going to have a negative impact on growth, it's going to finally have a negative impact on inflation. Now, this is not something which is completely unexpected from the market because it knows that that's what is the plan of the Federal Reserve, to create a controlled slowdown in the economy. Whether it will be controlled or not, we'll get to know only in the future. But at least that's what their game plan is. They want to create a controlled slowdown in the economy so that inflation comes down over the next 1 year or so. But the point is, what's going to happen with the Fed rates in the future? The market is now pricing in a 50 basis point hike for September. And the pace of hikes will gradually come down because the normal pace of hikes of Fed has been 25 bips in the past hiking cycles. Is bar they have been hiking at the fastest pace since Paul Volcker hikes in 1980. So right now, agar 75 say it moves to 50, it will be a first sign that the Fed is stepping down on the path of rate hikes, and which is understandable because abhi current rates in US is 2.5%. So if they hike by another 50 in September, it gets to 3. Another 50 thereafter. So it gets pretty close to the 4% terminal rate, which the market has penciled in. Because inflation is going to fall in the next year because the high base of this year, and commodity prices have corrected, etc. And ye jo higher rates hai in the economy, that is also taking a toll on the housing market, and housing has a bigger contribution to their inflation data. So once housing starts to slow down dramatically, it's going to have an impact on the overall inflation as well, and economy as well, of course. So if we consider all of these things, ek taraf there is a huge long positioning in the dollar against various currencies, massive short positioning in the US stock market. So sentiment in risk assets is pretty bearish. So ek rebalancing ka to gunjaish hai, and that's what could be happening now. Now, how far this can continue, we have to see. But as of now, that is what is happening, that short covering in the risk assets and a long liquidation in the dollar. Now, dollar rupee offshore mein is trading around 79, 78, 76 ke aspas, which means the August futures, August 26th futures, which is around now the front month, monthly futures, that will start trading around 80 ke aspas. 80, 79, 98 ke aspas. Now it has strong support between 79.80 and 79.90, and resistance is around 80.20, 80.30. Now it looks unlikely that we will see major pickup in volatility after the event, because event ke pehle to the implied volatility or the option premiums were crushed. This is one, as we had pointed out, that this was one of the lowest implied vols we had seen going into a FOMC, and that too a live FOMC, jahan pe Fed was expected to hike by 75 basis points. In spite of that, it looks like the realized volatility is not going to pick up even after the event. So the preferred strategy will be again to short straddles and strangles, but we'll be issuing the call as we see the opportunity. But straddles and strangle short, and people who are not comfortable taking an unlimited risk, and especially traders who are starting to trade in the currency market. जो कल हम लोगों ने webinar में बताया, in the options webinar in the evening, कि people who are starting to trade in the USDINR options, it is important to focus on two important things. First, you can start with hedge strategies like iron fly or iron butterfly, which is basically to short straddle and buy a strangle, and do with smaller lots. So you get a feel of the market, which means you basically start understanding the behavior of the underlying, which is USDINR. Because in order to trade options, you need to have a firm grip over the speed of the market, that is speed of the USDINR and its movements, its pricing behavior, and then only you can trade options effectively. So a good way to do that is to start with an iron fly with a smaller lots and gradually scale up as you start becoming more comfortable, or you are able to understand the price movement in USDINR. So strangle shorting will once again come into our radar, and we'll be updating you about various strategies, because it looks like in this phase of consolidation corrections in the dollar, we don't see a collapse in the dollar, but we can definitely see a pullback. And those pullbacks generally happen in a very shallow way, and that offers the opportunity for option sellers to take benefit from. Now coming to the cross currency, GBP INR should outperform the Euro INR, because GBP dollar is showing much more strength, and the risk on rally in the global market should be positive for GBP. Euro is being plagued by what is happening in the gas market, with the European gas prices about to make an all-time high. It's not good news for the euro. Euro is lagging in the short covering rally. So overall, it looks like to be range-bound USDINR with a slight downward bias. Euro INR will be range-bound, may drift a little up, but largely range-bound. GBP INR will be the strongest. Yen INR too may see an upside correction. Tonight, the important economic data is US advanced GDP numbers, which will be keenly watched and which will have an impact on the USD as well. If it shows a slowdown, which is more than expected, then the dollar can see more selling. So that's it, folks. This is Anindya Bannerjee signing off. A fantastic day ahead.